Happy almost Thanksgiving. It's been a crazy couple days here. I'm always saying that because this market is so up and down right now. It's not even funny. And that's really what we're talking about today. Where we're going, where the rates are going, where the market's going, everything. Talking about news, salacious news headlines that have been um, you know, taking root, especially when it comes to real estate. But we're also going to talk about some other things that kind of come into the Hakuna Matata, the whole vicious cycle of this economy that we gleefully live in. All right, let me up this up. Before I get started, I just posted this. I post a new video on this every Thursday. I think I did it last week. But this kind of goes through the whole mindset and process of if you're thinking about buying a house in the next year or 2 or 3, now is probably the time, and why. And yeah, we'll kind of fill out some more information about that. Right. So before we get into that, let me get rid of this because that's gone. We've gone through quite a few different weeks of this, haven't we? Lots of information, lots of news, all sorts of stuff. Junk pickup, Dr. Doom. Everybody's concerned about rates. Today, rates are 6.6. Actually, it looks like 6.654. But that's not a quoted rate, right? So it depends on who you go to. Talk to Hector or Scott or Luis. If you want to know what brokers will take what you have, your loan application, and shop around for the best rates and best scenarios. And they'll come up with a strategy. If you're all about rate, go to Bank of America. They always have great rates, but can't always talk about service. You want to close on time. There you go. If you want great rates, and like even Quicken Loans is so far out of whack right now. And these might be refinance rates too, right? There's difference between home purchase and refi. And then also it depends on if it's a jumbo or not, which we actually have videos on that. So if you want to learn more, go to Silicon Valley Living, at Silicon Valley Living in YouTube, and you'll see it. All right, gas prices are coming down a little bit. Last week it was 4.63 was the lowest. Today it's 4.39. Of course, it's Costco and all over the place. The highest though is 5.91 in San Jose. And wouldn't you know it, right here, right where Santa Teresa High School is, that Shell station has the highest price. Looks like they came down. But it looks like 5.59, I think is what I had it quoted at. 5.91 is what I had it quoted at. So that was before. It looks like they rated it down. Yeah, see, it was 5.91. That was 3 days ago. So now obviously it's down now to 5.55. All right. If you don't follow me on Facebook, I have this fun habit of posting pictures about different types of houses and what people do to them. And I want to have look at that. That is just horrible. I want to have a poll as to who can vote for or which of these pictures you think is the worst. Man, it's amazing. And I'm looking at buying houses all across the United States, and I see this stuff all the time, right? These are from posts. Yeah, that. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know why this is a joke, and whoever complained about it, get over yourself. It was a joke. So anyway, some fun stuff on REWTF. All you have to do is go to Facebook and type that in and look at all the fun stuff. And we're going to have a poll. If you're interested, let me know. Okay, so salacious headlines, right? People do stuff to get your attention. And when you read this, let me show you some of the posts that you see here. Let me get to there. See this right here? I have been seeing this post mostly probably because I'm in like real estate and I have, connections with all sorts of real estate agents all across the United States. So it seems like a lot of them kind of fell for this a little bit. Well, maybe they didn't fall for it, but they're like, oh, this sounds like a good idea, but they didn't really do the math. And, I think my math professors would say, hey, Vito, you did a good job. You should have shown this formula instead. I did it the manual way because that's how I roll. This quote right here, 7% at $30,000 under list price is better than $100,000 over list price at 2.99%. Let that sink in. That's a true statement up to a certain point. So I did some math. It's definitely not 2 million, 1 million, 5 million. It's not even 5 million or 500,000. It crosses over about $254,000. Now, I don't know. I mean, you can't even buy, I guess you could buy a mobile home, but that thing's going to be falling over for that here. It's hard to find houses for that price right now, right? So while that's true for most places, your 7% is going to be on par. And these are fully amortized numbers, right? So just take that with a grain of salt. Okay, enough of that. You'll never see that again. I'm sure you also saw headlines saying real estate offices, 1/3 of real estate offices can't afford to pay their rent. Well, that's true. But if you go dig into the root of where that headline came from, Bloomberg came up with it last week. And it's actually businesses. And I'm going to tell you right now, a majority of those businesses are small and medium-sized businesses. I'm sure there's a couple big ones. I'm positive that there's a bunch of big ones. But it was businesses, not real estate companies. I'm sure real estate companies are hurting just as bad as everybody else right now, right? So I know people were out there saying real estate companies because I think Yahoo took this headline and converted it into real estate instead of just businesses and ran with it. And then it caught wind. And then all of a sudden, real estate businesses are hurting. Well, yeah, you know what? Every business is hurting. But real estate businesses are in position, most of them, to weather out storms because, integrated circuit companies, semiconductor companies, electronic companies, they know for the last 40, 50 years that we go through cycles, up and down cycles, right? And maybe there's a few companies out there that do electronic components that are hurting right now, but they're going to be around because they save up for a rainy day. Okay, so I agree with it, but it's just a headline, just like everything else. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because over the last weeks, rates went down from 6.6 to 7.1, 7.15, down to 6.65. I have a feeling the numbers are going to come back down to about 5.5, 5 maybe on a good day, but it's going to float back and forth around March. December, January, maybe middle of February, we'll start seeing it come down. But we're going to see rates stay this high for that long. And then when March, April, May comes around, then the buying season happens again. And then buyers are going to go back in the market regardless of the rate. But I can almost tell you with a fairly decent degree of certainty that you're going to see the rates come down considerably. Am I saying 5, 5.5? I'd like to see 4.5. But I think 5 is going to be the normal. 5 is going to be the new normal, 5.5 maybe. So get that in your mindset. So don't hold out, because I'm sure we've talked about this 1,000 bazillion times. Right now, there's less competition, right? If the market crashes, we're talking about that again today. The market goes down a little bit. There's less competition right now. I hosted an open house this last weekend. I had 17 sets come through. Granted, a lot of them were neighbors. By design, I wanted a lot of my neighbors to come by so I can remind them that I'm in real estate, right? Because that's what I do. But I had a lot of buyers. I want to say 8 or 9 sets of buyers came through looking at the house, which is good. It's incredibly good. It's for Blossom Valley in my neighborhood. The last time I did an open house here, we had 3 show up, 3 sets show up altogether. So I think I can attribute that to, one, the market picking up, but also I cast a wide net of open house signs. I have 45, 40, plastic ones. And then I have a bunch of metal ones too. So I have over like 100, but typically I'm going to put out 20, 25, maybe 30 open house signs for an open house. And the reason why is because, one, name recognition for me, right? But also it attracts more buyers. I get more traffic than everybody else. So that's why. Okay. Yes, this one. Housing forecast update. Freddie Mac mortgage rates fall as inflation indicators ease. Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter about inflation. It does, but it doesn't, because, as we see the rates go up, you're going to see less houses being sold, but houses are going to come back down. And this is a normal. We're not going to see 2.5, not until the next pandemic or the next whatever emergency thing that we're having to keep the economy moving, right? The reason why we did that is to made or offered up 2.5%. is because we needed to keep the economy floating. We needed to keep it moving. We needed to put money in people's pockets so that they go and buy stuff. So we kept the market going. A side result of that was an unnatural increase right here. See, like this? If you look at this straight line, we'll go back to, where's my other one? There we go. This one's a little more accurate, right? That was 2008, kind of came down a little bit. This went up. The last 2 years have been an unnatural climb due to unnatural low rates. The low rates increased it. It made it more affordable, and it didn't affect price. It actually hurt pricing by increasing price. So it pushed affordability index down for every area in the United States. I can't say every. I want to say most areas in the United States, most metropolitan and suburban areas. We saw a massive uptick. So that's going to go down. Are we going to see a crash? I see it's going to flatten out. We're probably going to see this contract back down to its natural growth, which, I can't say that this is the natural path, but I'm just using that as an algorithm, as an analog. At the end of the day, you have to make that decision. I don't think we're going to do it. And here's another reason why. My theory as to why, and this isn't mine, this is what a lot of other people are saying. And the same thing on this. This is what a lot of other people are saying, right? Why the market won't crash, why the market will crash, and their theories, right? They're just speculation. They're just people throwing out, well, this is what happened in 2008. Well, this is what happened in 1970. And this is what happened in 1980. And what? I'm just throwing it out here so we can have a balanced argument or discussion, right? I don't know how many people refinanced or bought a house at 2.5%, 3%. They're never going to be able to afford to sell it. That wouldn't make financial sense for them to sell it ever, right? Unless they need the cash. But then you can just, pull out a HELOC, use that cash, put it back in, and then you're done. Always keep that one, right? And if you notice right here, I'm going to keep highlighting this in orange. No, what did I do? I want to do, there it is, in orange. This is going to result in a reduction of supply of homes. Retirees aren't downsizing. They are choosing to die in their homes now. Why? Because the cost of moving is expensive. Are some doing it? Yes. Are some choosing to? Yes. Are there other reasons why people are wanting to do that? Stay in their house or sell? Yes, absolutely. But on the majority, we're going to see less retirees, less people of my age move into a downsized home. This has been a topic of concern over the last 5 to 10 years. Okay. My daughter's going to go out and get her second driver's class. REOs aren't going to be in the numbers that of 2008, right? We're not seeing it. If you look at this, I don't have the graph with me, but if you look at it, those numbers are just not there. If you look at my numbers right here, REOs, they're not in the thousands and tens of thousands, or even the multiple hundreds here. It's just not, right? We're not going to see that. We're probably not going to see that, which again reduces supply because there are no forced sellers. Airbnb, VRBO, I've been saying this for quite a while. They're going to either have to short sell it or sell quick because Airbnb is failing them. There's discussions about that. We're not going to go into that right now. They're either going to convert into long-term rentals, or they're going to sell it off right now. And most of them bought into this one where it goes up here, where they bought it at 2.5%, 3%. They can't afford to get rid of it. So they're probably going to convert it into long-term rentals if they're smart, because in the next few years, you're going to see that business model disappear. If the homeowner becomes unemployed, they'll rent out the house. It's a short-term fix. If I moved into my parents' house, if I got unemployed and I couldn't afford to make my payments, I would move out, move my family out, move my chickens out, move my dogs out, move into my parents' house in Knoxville, Tennessee, and rent this place out, because I can rent it for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month. And I'll pay off that plus a whole lot more, reducing the supply, right? Smart people will do this. People that have their head in the sand and deny it until the very end, they're going to be the losers, and we'll be out there to pick them up. Transaction volume, because of the rates right now, because of stock market crashes, because of this, will merely slow down. Right now, we're on the last 10 years, it's been about 6 million homes sold in America every year, which is a lot. We're expecting that to be cut in half. We're estimating that this next year, we're going to end up 5.25, 5.4 million homes sold. So we already see transaction volume, or the supply, dwindling. All right. And then investors are sitting on the sidelines waiting for all this to come through and see if anything goes. They're looking for good deals. I can tell you that the many investors I know are looking for good deals right now. They're not buying on the I need to buy this house right now, or the time ticketed one. We're just not doing that. They're they're sitting and waiting and being patient. And you want to call them vultures? Sure. That's what they do. But they're also solving a problem. This adds to demand. So, I know my economics professor would tell me, Vito, you did a great job, but where's the math? I'm a net sheet guy. I'm a spreadsheet guy, not a math guy. When there's lowering demand or lowering supply and demand stays steady or goes down just a little bit, or wanes, stays at the same time, doesn't go way down here, prices are pushed up. That's why it won't crash. Are prices going to go back to normal? Are we going to see a contraction? We're already seeing that. We are already seeing a contraction. I can tell you that my house was close to $2 million back in April. And now I'd be hard pressed to sell it for 1.7. As a matter of fact, the same house, 2 blocks away, been on the market over 90 days at 1.7, probably 1.86 right now. Can't sell it. My house is in better condition, but that's not really relevant right now. So prices are contracting. There's the house I did the open house on this weekend. 1.4. 1.4. It's been on market 18, 19, 20 days now. That wasn't happening. We're talking about, hours. Homes being on market for a couple days, on average 12 days. Now we're seeing 31 days. So it's not that homes aren't being sold. It's not that buyers aren't buying. It's just smart buyers are buying right now because they've been waiting and they were frustrated when they had to deal with, where is it? 17 buyers per home. When there's one buyer for 17 homes, they can be picky. If you're a buyer right now, you can be picky. If you wait till March, April, May, I can't promise that. I'm not saying that the market's going to turn around. We might go into a worldwide debacle, right? Go back up to here. Here's why the market will crash. Rates continue to stay at 7, 8, even 10%. Some people are saying it might go up to 10%. The Feds could go up, 5% instead of 0.5 basis points, which is 0.5%. Stock market crashes. Stock market rallied this last week, but that's probably because of the elections. I'm not sure. Inflation surges again, out of control. That means we can't control it. And this might be US, it might be North America, it might be the Northern Hemisphere, or it could be global. There's a lot of reasons why inflation could surge. Here's a contentious one, and I'm sure that people will get pissed off at me saying this. Minimum wage continues to increase, right? I'm not talking about professional wages or labor wages, or contractor, construction worker. I'm talking about minimum wage. I'm talking about the demise of the franchise fast food chains. Newsom just increased minimum wage to $22 an hour. That means you're going to be paying $20 for a sandwich. You're going to be paying $5 to $6 for a drink because rent goes up, utilities. Oh yeah, by the way, utilities are going up and wages are going up. Insurance is going up. Everything, cost of living is going up for that business owner. And I don't care if it's McDonald's or Panera or Subway, it doesn't matter. If it's $22 an hour and you have an average of 10 people per shift, you're looking at like $2.3 million at $15 an hour. When it's $22, I think you're like close to $3 million per year just on labor alone. So your profit just goes out of the way. And if I was a franchise owner and I owned a McDonald's, first of all, it would cost me $2.5 million to build a McDonald's out. And I don't know if you know this or not, but that McDonald's over there, which I never patronized, I don't eat McDonald's. It's out of business. That Jack in the Box is out of business. There's another one that's out of Burger King on Saratoga Sunnyvale. I grew up there. I started that Burger King back in the 1980s. When I was a kid, that was one of my second job. I was a newspaper kid, right? I helped open that store and it's gone now. I think they're turning it into a noodle house, which is fine, whatever. The noodle houses are mom and pop shops and they don't have the same regulations. Plus they also make their kids work for $5 an hour, right? So they're going to survive. They're going to do fine. It's the franchises with over hundreds of employees, that kind of thing, where they're going to have that, and that's going to hurt the economy overall. we're going to see major wage improvement everywhere because of that. Everybody's like, yeah, that's great. I can afford, my $1 million house now. Well, no, because when you can afford it and you make, let's say, $300,000 now, and then it goes, you go up to $350,000 a year. Well, everybody else is going to go up to $350,000 a year. That means you can afford a little bit more. So then the upward pressure to buy a house goes up. That means there's more buyers at that price range, and you're going to have to overbid for that. And there's more competition. So again, you're going to have 17 buyers for every house. So that can help continue to crash this market. More small and medium-sized businesses fail. Well, we already talked about that in the headlines, but because of what's going on, we are going to have that. And that's a natural attrition right now, right? It happened in the 60s. It happened in the 70s. It happened in the 80s. It happened in the 90s. The dot-com smashed small businesses. The dot-com bust smashed small businesses. And it happened in the 10s. Now it's the 20s. And we're going to see it again. It happens. One out of, I think, half of every small business, new startup business fails within the first 3 years, 2-3 years. It's a normal thing. It's the same thing with real estate agents, right? You have about a 50% chance of making it out to your third year. And after that, then you're good. You're gold. You'll probably be okay, right? That's this one right here. We're going to see this happen. It's a natural attrition, but you're going to see that number grow. Gas prices remain high. I don't think $5.50 a gallon is sustainable. I know that there's a set of people saying you should go electric. I agree. And we're going to go into that in the next live we do. We're talking about, because we're running out of time now, we're talking about car sales volume and car repos. And Tesla's up there. And I know, Tesla, whatever. I don't care if you're a Tesla fan or not. Electric cars are there, but they're not at the volume they need to be. Airbnb, VRBO, and iBuyers oversaturate the housing market. That's already happening. If you haven't heard, Open Doors selling off their assets. Redfin just closed their doors. They're starting to sell their assets. All the iBuyer platforms are selling off, right? One company did it. Oh, no, it was Zillow. They had $400 million worth of homes in the Sunbelt corridor, right? From Arizona to Florida, Sunbelt, $400 million worth of homes. They sold it to BlackRock or some kind of big holding company. Well, those houses will never see the market again. Those will always be rental markets, right? So these people are going to sell in excess and supply will go up and demand will consume them, but at a lower price. And the last thing that will crash our market is a global economy crash or World War III or famine and pestilence and all the stuff that the media is scaring you about. Is it possible? Sure. But I don't think we're going to see it yet unless we have like a zombie apocalypse. Well, we already have that with the fentanyl stuff. I know that's nothing to laugh about, but this is a zombie apocalypse. If we get hit by, an asteroid or what have you, that's something that possibly can happen. If World War III breaks out, it can possibly happen. But, everything goes on hold then. All right. So enough of that. Let's see. I want to talk about this again. We're putting this thing together. It's going to be a webinar to kind of give you a general survey of what we're offering, right? And we're bringing in a bunch of professional services to talk to you about understanding how to get your life into control. Now more than ever, it's important. Your household budget, setting aside for the future, investing, buying real estate. That's what I do, right? If you have a business, talk to us, business insurance person. healthcare stuff, do's and don'ts. If you're an employee, you can talk to this business insurance person to talk to them about what things you should know going into a hospital, asking about costs of whatever issue you're going to go through. How do you work with those people? What kind of questions should you be answering? That's what this financial intelligence is about. We don't do this in school. We don't do this in high school. We don't do this in college. We surely don't do it in the military. Very few families talk about it. So if you're interested in learning more about this, the whole concept is just pure education. There's no hard sell. We don't put you in a room and make you sign up or pay for anything. This is more, we give you information and you do with it what you want. If you want to work with us, yay, great. But what I've noticed is all of us professional services, financial advisors, realtors, lenders, business, whatever, we all work in these little silos and we all have separate information. What we're coming together is creating a plan for you so you can go from today to next year to 5 years to 10 years and kind of know where you're going to be without setbacks or what have you, and have a plan and be fully aware of what goes on in every step. And that's the whole idea of what financial intelligence is about. If you want to learn more about it, let me know. Happy to bring that over to you. We're going to have a webinar, and then we're going to invite you to an in-person seminar process where we do 4 or 5 classes at a time. Okay. Let's see. I have to go back to this thing. Okay. 31 minutes. I've been talking. Can you believe that? 40 days on market. The whole reason why I started this, we're down from last week. So for the last few weeks, we've been down. I don't know why I didn't do it that week, but whatever. 90 days on market. It's continuing to grow. Again, this isn't because the market's collapsing. I'll explain why this is down right now. Okay. People are buying houses, natural consumption. I think that level's coming up a little bit, but not to what we're expecting. But we're going to see buyers be a lot more picky about what they're buying and how much they're paying for it. And sellers have to come to grips with that, right? REOs, 24. It's not anywhere near the high, but we're steadily going there. In 2008, we had hundreds of REOs. It took up like 10, 20, 30% of our inventory were REOs. REOs are bank-owned homes. After they foreclose on you, they take them back into their system. They own it. They sell it off to the secondary market, and they have these guys that just sell houses at like a fast clip. That's all they do. But it's not happening because this is all of California. Not all of California, all of California that I can have my hands on, right? Because there's certain parts of the desert that I can't get to, etc. The median home value in the U.S. went down another $5,000. Is that scary? No. I've been telling you this for a while. I'm going to get rid of this. The high was 416,000. But if you look at that chart, it's because we were so unnaturally high for so long. Now we're coming back down, right? We're correcting. If you look at today's numbers, what's that number? 380. 380 is about right there. Okay. So yeah, we're contracting. We're contracting quite a bit. That's all of US. If you look at just San Jose, we've contracted quite a bit too, by 200,000. Well, really 34,000 on average. The last week over week, year over year, it's about 100 and change, 150,000. So we had 70 closes last week compared to 135. We're seeing a 53% drop in transactions. When you see all these thumbnails saying the housing crash, exactly what I did, right? Where did I put that? This one, no. Home sales down. That's what I want to talk about. Home sales down. That's right. The volume of home sales are down. value of homes are going down a little bit, but not like a travesty. I don't think the Bay Area is going to see a huge dip. In the 2008, we didn't see it at all. I mean, we did, but we went back to a natural number, right? Median price 1.4. We're still above on the on average, we're still above list price to sales price ratio. We haven't seen anything dip below 98, 97%. It's not huge. I don't think these numbers are that bad. What you have to look into, and I can show you these numbers real quick, right? All these numbers. This is list price to sales price, right? Not the original price, but the current price to the sales price. Of those, where is it? 25%, 24% were over 100%. So we're still seeing homes sell for over list price. As a matter of fact, 117, 102, 106, 108, 114. The high was 117. The low was 75%. Let's take a look at what that house looked like. I don't think I can find it, but get the address for sure. Maybe next week I'll get you those numbers. I don't see the 75 here. All right. Well, without boring you, I'll find that number for you. Days on market are now at a month. That's still pretty good. It's still a seller's market. Pendings 45 were down from the last few weeks. Sales price decrease is 162, which is 44% of what's on market in San Jose. List price decrease is 160. No, that's right here, 162. TFT back on market is 38. So 38 contract cancellations. And then we had the actual listing cancellations. The listing canceled or expired or withdrew. We had 21 of those. So on average, we see about 34 a week over the last few months. And I'm not going to go through each and every one of these, but what I want you to look at is all these red numbers in this column. See, those are homes. Those are the areas that have inventory contracting, right? Of all the few that I'm looking at, 3 of them are not contracting. Does that mean the market's back? I don't think so. I think the market's kind of limping along. I think the market's still kind of going at 50%, right? Well, 50% of what it was last year. I think we're back to normal, right? And I think we're slower than normal. I think we're going to see it tick up once rates get down to 5.5%. You're going to see volume increase, obviously, but you're also going to see supply dwindle. Because if you look at these numbers, Cape Coral back when I first started looking was 2283, right? That's $1,200 more, over 1,200 more, right? 620. Everything's going up over the long haul, 29 to 36. All the numbers are going up, but the week over week is going down a little bit. And I'll tell you why. Winter. Yeah, winter. It's not the season. Our season to sell in a majority of the United States and metropolitan areas, their selling season is March, April, May. It has been since I've been in real estate and since before that, since before I knew anything about real estate. Over the last 2 years, since COVID started, there was absolutely no stop. There was zero stop. I'd be in a listing appointment and they would ask me, when is the best time to sell? And I would say it usually is March, April, May. But for right now, it's crazy. It was a wildfire. It was a firestorm. And now we're picking out embers, right? Because it's done. Nothing lasts forever. And quite frankly, I'm glad because working with buyers, they actually get a reprieve right now. So is it time to buy? not going to tell you yes or no, but I'm going to tell you that you should definitely consider it. All right. I'm going to continue to do this. I have a few more things that we're going to talk about, and I'll do that in my next live because I think we're running out of time and patience, and it's 40 minutes, and I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. I'm Vito Scarnecchia with the Avatano Group, powered by Compass. We'll see you out there.